There's a lot of rage out there these days. People get upset so easily. There's no patience. Just the other day, this guy comes over to me and says, I hope you drop dead. Guy says to me, I hope you drop dead. It wouldn't bother me so much. It was my doctor. Speaking of rage, growing up in Brooklyn, there was a lot of yelling and screaming and fighting. Things got even worse when I left my house. I went to a really violent high school. I got mugged so many times in high school. I once got mugged by a guy that was already wearing my wristwatch. It's right out for my high school basketball team. Coach comes into the gym and says, stand up. I tell him I'm standing. He says, you're off the team. I couldn't even start on my synagogue basketball team. I asked the coach, when am I going to get to play? He said, there's a flu epidemic. This guy asked me what kind of injuries I get playing basketball. I said I get splinters from sitting on the bench. Now as I get older and older, my memory gets worse and worse. I realize the advantage of dementia is you never get stuck watching reruns on TV. I've been a lawyer now for 43 years. I was a trial lawyer, I was an administrative law judge. I had a pretty good career. Only one thing stopped me from going to Harvard Law School. Their admissions committee. After Harvard received my application fee, they sent me a letter thanking me for the donation. When I went to law school, I had some really snobby classmates. First day of law school, I walk over to this woman who I thought looked familiar. I asked if she was from Brooklyn. She looked at me and said, no, she just has a cold. This other real bright woman in my law school class was trilingual. I asked her out on a date and she turned me down in 3 languages. My housing situation in law school was pretty bad also. My apartment had mice and rats. Technically, I was in violation of my lease, which prohibited pets. So I was a trial lawyer for many, many years, and then I became an administrative law judge. When I became an administrative law judge, I had to learn computers. I was never good with computers. The first computer I ever had was extremely user-unfriendly. Turned on the computer and the screen gave me the finger. Also, I became an administrative law judge. The job came with a clerk. Yeah, the clerk was there the first day. And this clerk wasn't the brightest guy in the world. He played football in high school for 4 years. Unfortunately, they never gave him a helmet. Now, this clerk liked to go in the waiting room and talk to people. You're not really supposed to bother people in the waiting room. You're supposed to give them privacy so they can prepare for the hearings. But he goes out there anyhow. One day he's talking to this family. There's a boy in the family. He asked the boy what grade he was in. The boy tells him he's in 5th grade. My clerk tells the boy that 5th grade was his favorite grade. As I walked by, I said, yeah, he liked 5th grade so much, he spent 3 years there. One day at work, this clerk is showing people how to fill out medical forms. This clerk is not the person you want instructing people on how to fill out medical forms. This clerk would sign his own death certificate. A lot of jobs these days require you to take seminars on issues like how do you treat people from diverse backgrounds and how do you treat people with mental illness. And these are really, really important seminars, but they make you take them over and over and over again, every year, again and again. It's real tedious. They make you fill out a questionnaire afterwards. First question is always, what'd you like best about the seminar? I put down it ended. Then they ask, how does your law firm treat people with mental illness? I put down they promote them to supervisor. Lastly, they ask, what'd you get out of the seminar? I put down heartburn, indigestion, and it cured my insomnia.